Welcome, adventurers. Our day begins in the late morning as a wagon approaches the township of Greenhaven. Greenhaven rests about a 2 or 3 day ride north of Esterfell, the capital of Agonia. On this wagon, sitting next to kind of a thin older man with droopy eyes, a large nose, and a graying beard who's just kind of muttering to himself and urging on the horses, is Ryutaro. And he's kind of nodding in and out along with the swaying of the wagon. And in the back of the wagon is Aya and Mora. And Aya kind of peeks her head out and can see Greenhaven just coming into view.
Okay, it looks like we're almost there. It'll be nice to get out of the wagon and stretch our legs.
That right. I'm dying in here.
It's been a long journey.
Yeah. And there's only so much rock, paper, scissors that will pass the time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yeah. Only 3 options. Gets old really quick.
I keep telling you we can play the 8 version of that.
I guess, but I get confused sometimes because there's a lot more options and I haven't played that version before. How can there be 8? How can there be 8? I've never heard of that many.
Well, you just add in all of the other interesting little things, frogs and toes and whatnot.
Yeah, okay, but how does toes beat paper? How does that work?
Tried to explain it before.
I know, I'm sorry.
This conversation kind of continues on as Mora once again goes through frogs, toes. Toes sit on the paper. Paper can't move, so paper loses as the wagon makes its way into Greenhaven. Over the past several weeks, the 3 of you have been traveling together, and I should say adventuring together. And the work has been good. You are all members of the Adventuring Guild, and there has been regular and plentiful work. But the feeling has certainly been that this has been some hard work. These jobs have not been easy. You were escorting a noble down to Esterfell, and if ever there was a pretentious and self-absorbed noble, it was he, and needed to be waited on hand and foot in every moment. There was another time that you went to temple ruins and was caught in enormous spider webs and had to fight some spider folk. So it has just been a series of misadventures and difficult tasks. So you are excited to see Greenhaven, perhaps rest and get your next adventure and hopefully something a little bit easier. As you roll into town, you will see Greenhaven, which is a lovely town. It really is. It's protected around the perimeter by large wooden walls. There's a guard tower as the wagon kind of rolls on by. And in the center of town, you have a market. It is kind of located in the northern area of Agonia. And so there are quite a few merchants with the Merchants Guild there. Most of the guilds have representation there. There's the Hospitality Guild, which covers all of the taverns and inns throughout Agonia. You even have the Thieves Guild, which has an official presence and operates within most of the towns and villages and cities in Agonia. And of course, you have the Adventurers Guild. Towns like Greenhaven are particularly absolutely thriving with adventurers, because this is an area far to the north where you have the Great Forest, the northern mountain range, and the river flowing south to the sea, is an area rich for monsters and creatures to roam freely, and they still do, as well as various commoners, wizards, nobles, all needing help in errands. So Greenhaven has become something of a hub for adventuring activity. And as the wagon kind of whoas to a stop, and the old man kind of gets off the wagon, gets off the carriage and tends to the horses, you see that the city is bustling. There is life. There are adventurers of all walks of life and ilks kind of making their way in and out of the adventuring guild. There seems to be kind of an open air market that has been set up, so you see vendors selling various goods, clothing, you see some leather armor, you see some trinkets, you see some pies, you see some large crowd kind of on the other side of the street has kind of gathered, and it seems as though there's a fight going on or something like that over there. And of course you have the Adventurers Guild. So from here, the three of you are able to disembark the wagon.
Oh, it is a busy day here, isn't it? So a lot going on.
A lot more exciting than that ride, I guess.
I will step off the wagon as soon as we possibly can. I have had enough of this.
I will very quickly follow suit. And big stretch to kind of and stretch out.
As you guys are stretching, you notice kind of walking alongside the guild hall is Lucas, who you've met a few times before. He's a slender, tall young man, maybe all of 17 years old, and he works as a guild employee, helping adventurers and whatnot. And he's walking with a large kind of crate in hand, and he looks up. He says, Ryu, welcome back, buddy. Oh, Mora, hi. And he just almost bumps as he's walking, he stubs his toe kind of on an exposed root in the cobblestone and takes a couple of steps and trips forward. He's like,
wait. And Aya runs up to kind of help him catch the other side of the package that he's carrying. Hold on.
Oh,
Careful
thank you
there, bud.
Oh, yeah, this is heavy. Some new supplies came in for the guild, so we gotta offload them. And kind of
Anything good?
Just kind of some leathers, and looks like, and he's kind of looking in here, and he pops out a bottle of wine. He's like, I don't know, you want one of these guys here real quick? And he just has a little bottle of wine and hands that over. Lucas is a nice guy, pretty friendly with you all.
You always have the best stuff, Luke?
Well, you guys are here just in time. We also got a new folder of adventures came in from Esterfell. So if you guys hang out at the guild for a little bit, I'm sure that Ayumi is going to be posting them probably within the next 30 minutes or so. And you guys know Ayumi as being the guild master here at the Greenhaven Guild Hall.
Sweet. I'm always ready for some new opportunities, some new quests. After riding that wagon, I feel like I'm gonna go solid.
Anything is better than 3 days in a wagon.
Do you perhaps know what's going on with the fight that's over there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you got Aya and Ryutaro. You can see that when Lucas kind of talks to Mora, his face turns just kind of a beet red, and he's kind of lucky to get his tongue untwisted in his mouth as he tries to kind of play it cool. He's like, yeah, well, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a new adventurer in town. He just arrived yesterday while you guys were still on the road. His name's his name's Goro. And he's a Leonin from the south, and he's kind of got a reputation. So Korga...
What kind of reputation?
he's rumor has it that he used to fight in the military, and he's super strong. So of course, Korga being Korga, and you all know Korga as kind of one of those adventurers who spends far more time at the guild hall than actually adventuring anymore, but certainly has tales of his great adventures. I mean, is just one step shy from saying I was there with Agon 500 years ago when he defeated the demon lord, right? So he's a very capable warrior, nobody doubts that, but he spends much more time nowadays telling people that he's a capable warrior than actually being out adventuring anymore. So, but he is one for shows of strength and throwing his weight around a little bit. So none of you are too surprised to hear that Korga would have approached the newest, supposedly strongest show in town.
Well, classic Korga. I mean, if he is fighting that guy, might as well go see. I mean, after that last one, I could go for a pretty strong guy. Maybe we should check it out.
Maybe
Make
he
sure
would like
nobody
to
gets
come
hurt too
adventuring
much.
with us. I mean, we are a pretty strong group as it is, but when it comes to actual brute strength, and Aya kind of looks at her less than, not strong arms and goes, yeah, I feel like having a strong fighter on the team might be a good idea.
I mean,
This
well,
is
like,
what we
I am
discussed after we
pretty
got away
strong.
after we got away from the, but don't forget that the spiders were a bit tricky, and
Ugh.
we did have a discussion about how another strong warrior would be really useful for us.
Yeah. The spiders. Ugh.
I mean, it's not that like I don't think I could do it, but I'm so much better with this bow and being up close. I guess getting one of them would be pretty nice.
Well, let's go check it out. See what's happening. I'm really interested to see this.
Well, I start kind of walking over, actually kind of excited to see what's up.
Oh yeah.
We'll smile at Lucas as we leave and say, "Thank you so much, Lucas. I hope we see you later."
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Okay, no, yeah, we'll see you later. And he again trips over kind of the door sill as he makes his way into the guild hall. And another couple of adventurers have to kind of grab him up onto his feet and make sure he doesn't trip and fall as he enters the guild hall. So you can look at the map here, and you'll see that we have Mora and Ryutaro and Aya. And the three of you kind of make your way across the main street here, the high road, in the high road here in Greenhaven. And you see that quite the crowd has formed. Most of the adventurers who hang out, and you see many familiar faces. You do, Mora, you recognize a few fellow spellcasters kind of sitting cross-legged and kind of feigning disinterest in the fight. Such barbaric practices is the vibe that you get off of them. And Ryutaro, you recognize several of the guys. There is a cafeteria and kind of common area in the guild hall, and you enjoy from time to time hanging out there and kind of drinking and chatting late into the night and hearing about the various adventures that have been going on in the area. Aya, you, as you approach, kind of around your lower legs, feel this tight squeeze. Yeah. And you look down in shock, and kind of lost in the frills of your skirt, you see two tiny little heads pop out, and they're squeezing you tightly. Oh, Aya, you're back! And it's Minnie and Dory, two little children from the village who have kind of made it a habit to saying hello and playing with you whenever you do make it back through Greenhaven.
Hey, hi guys, how are you doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We've been playing adventure all day long, says Minnie. And Dory says, look, I got a new sword. But he can't really say it because this huge snot booger is kind of like coming out of his nostril. And he's like wiping it away with his fist. So the sword's kind of like whacking you in the side here. He's like, my dad gave it to me.
That's great. And she reaches into like her blouse and kind of takes out a little like hanky and like takes his face and like cleans, like wipes him up a little bit.
And he kind of fights you off a little bit. He's like, I can do it. I'm gonna be an adventurer one day. Like I'm gonna be like Korga with my sword. And he kind of like slashes it. He's like, see, and then as he slashes it, he's like purposely jabbing it into Ryutaro's side. He's like, yeah, you're gonna be the first one to get it. Yeah. And I mean, of course, as he's all of 4 or 5 years old. So Ryu, as he hits you, it's just kind of like in your knees.
Well, maybe when you can hit above the knees, then I'll take you up on it. We'll see how it goes.
Ryu, can we play with Koji? Says Minnie.
I don't know. Hey, Koji, what do you
on.
think? Koji just kind of... I just kind of, okay. I kind of put Koji down on the ground and let him kind of go at it.
So the three of them are kind of play wrestling for a bit as the adults now turn their attention to the ring. And in the ring, you see Korga. Korga is a little short in stature, but very wide-shouldered and, thick, broad muscles. And he's standing with kind of his signature long sword, short sword combo. And as you listen in, you hear these murmurs in the crowd. You're like, man, it's been a while since Korga fought anybody. Like, I don't know. And the other one's like, yeah, but, Korga, I mean, the long sword, short sword combo. I mean, he's kind of undefeated in the area. And you hear this bantering going on. And in the far corner, you see a dark-suited man with a tight dark haircut, thin rim glasses, and he's very orderly going around and taking bets, exchanging money. He has a couple of goonish-looking guys beside him, and it's pretty clear to tell that this is a representative of the Thieves Guild, and any event like this falls squarely in their domain for taking bets and whatnot. So there's a bookie kind of putting money down. Mora, you have kind of, after not having been accosted by the children, you've kind of stepped ahead a little bit, and you look through the crowd, and on the other side, there's Korga, and he's shirtless, and he's kind of pounding his chest, his long hand in one sword, in one hand, his short sword in the other. Kind of giving these encouraging shouts to the crowd, kind of getting them wild up, and you look just past him. And what you see is this massive hulking form of white and black, this enormous mane. And turning towards you is Goro, what has to be the largest Leonin demi-human beast folk fighter you have ever seen. And in his hand is this just glorious, ornately carved spear. And the two of them begin to square off. And Goro, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and roll for initiative.
First initiative roll.
Bum, bum, bum.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
It's a 20.
Nice. Okay. We're going to play it like that, huh?
A good roll to start the game.
So, that's going to be so Korga kind of turns around and the orderly man squares off with you, and the two of you begin kind of circling. And the orderly man kind of stands up, clears his throat. Gentlemen, this is a Thieves Guild sanctioned duel. This is a non-lethal duel, though you are allowed to drop your opponent. All bets are closed for the time being. Make sure to retrieve your winnings after. And he takes a bow. There is a shout from the crowd, and the combat between the two begin. Goro, how would you like to start this fight?
I will start with an attack from my boar spear.
Nice.
And that is a 24.
Oh, yes. A 24 will hit.
For two-handed, so I'm wielding it two-handed with a total of 11 damage.
Oh.
And then I don't stop there. I continue and I whip it around and I attack him with the end of the spear for extra bludgeoning damage for a bonus attack.
Nice.
For 14 to hit.
A 14 does not hit. You whip around and with a ferocious charge are able to smash into his splint armor. And as that butt end of your spear comes around, you catch, where you're able to get through with the head of your spear, you catch a bit of his splint armor coming up off the other side. This makes it his turn. And Korga takes a few steps back. He's like, ha ha! I wasn't expecting that. Well, let's show you what I've got. Prepare to feel my long sword, short sword combo. And he jumps into the air and comes down first with his long sword and then takes a swipe with his short. The first is an 11. So he comes crashing down and he places his long sword into the ground, using it to brace himself as he comes down with his short sword. Much better at a dirty 20 to hit.
It does.
That causes 8 points of piercing damage.
A solid, if not basic, attack. What was your name? Korga?
Yes, Korga. Remember the name. Ha ha ha! And he turns to the crowd and he starts thumping his chest again. And people now are kind of laying money down on Korga. And you see the kind of leaderboard changing. There's like a little chalkboard that the suited man has.
I lean into attack again with my boar spear.
Go for it.
15 to hit.
15 does not hit.
Okay. And can I continue with my bonus action given
Yeah.
the polearm mastery?
Yeah.
A dirty 20 this time.
That'll hit.
For 4 bludgeoning damage.
So you hit him with your spear and the fight continues. You're kind of circling around each other. Both of you are kind of getting your breath, and the audience, the crowd watching is seeing as Goro and Korga both are clearly kind of fighting this battle in their minds as much as they are in the ring physically. And you can see that they're kind of plotting their next move. As this is happening, another kind of wagon carriage comes rolling into the area, and kind of a group has formed, an even larger group has formed around this duel. So you don't quite notice the sound and the clacking at first, but there is kind of a commotion going on around the wagon. And just as it kind of gets the attention of the party, you, Mora, and Aya, Korga goes in for his next hit. Okay, that's going to be a 17 to hit.
It does not. It glances off my plate.
Okay, so he comes in with his short sword and that's going to be a 22 to hit.
Yes.
Oh, for only 4 points of damage. So he comes in and kind of swipes over your head, and as he turns his back, kind of in a turning motion, you watch as he 360s around one of his fingers. The short sword catches the hilt and is able to just kind of nick your side, and comes down facing the crowd with kind of a menacing grin on his face.
Okay. Let's take this up a notch. Another attack with my spear. For 12.
12 does not hit.
Continue with my unarmed strike. 22 this time.
That'll hit.
For, again, another 4 damage.
Awesome. So, as he's kind of coming back up to his feet, he pauses for a moment. He's looking out across the crowd. He's not really paying attention to you. And this kind of gets all of your attention as you turn to look, and stepping out of this wagon is a large creature, so large that the wagon on its axles kind of flops from side to side. And there are several men, fellow adventurers, who are kind of pulling out by pole and rope this creature. And you see, it's kind of shackled in its 2 hands, you see a troll, a large, gnarling troll with kind of a black hood over its head, a rope kind of tied around that, and it's getting pulled forward down towards the Adventurers Guild Hall, and kind of a murmuring whispers kind of go out amongst the crowd.
Oh boy.
Why do they have that in town?
No idea.
What? That that should not be here.
So kind of make way, make way. One of the adventurers kind of trumpeting for the crowd to make space as they begin to pull the troll kind of towards the Adventurers Guild Hall. And he says, you can hear a couple of them kind of talking, bragging a little bit to the crowd. One of the adventurers say, What are you guys doing with that thing here? And he says, well, I don't know, but our adventure request said that the military needed a bunch of these things. We've been up in the mountains for weeks now tracking it. We're able to jump on it while it was asleep and got it grappled and tied and everything. A real pro job, if you ask me. As he kind of gloats about their successful trapping of this troll, Korga turns his attention back to Goro and takes another swipe. Okay, so he takes a couple of steps back and kind of is clearly flustered by seeing this troll, and has to kind of shake his head back to attention as he turns to Goro, and his short sword hand is just kind of limp, and he takes kind of a half swing with his long sword. As you can see, his mind is still kind of processing this troll, and he rolled a crit 1, so fully misses on that swing.
Oh.
Making it Goro's turn.
I am relentless with my spear attack.
14 does not hit. The nerves get you a little bit as well.
I continue with my bonus attack. Give me something. There we go. 23 to hit.
A 23 will hit.
For 2 damage this time.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no. There's a +3 there. For 5 damage this time.
5 points of damage. Great. So you come and you kind of slash. You slash him, and you really get him. You get him good on the arm. And this kind of spurt of blood shoots out of his arm and hits against one of the posts. And as it does, the troll is kind of getting pulled alongside, and He sniffs. You see, he has this black hood kind of over his face, but you can see the outline of this enormous schnoz, this enormous nose, as it inhales, smelling this blood, and it stops. So much that it kind of catches the guards unaware, and they lose ever so momentarily hold of the rope. And this troll, it all happens in kind of quick succession. The troll passing and stopping to sniff, them clamoring, starts to really unsettle several of the horses that are tied up to the fencing nearby, and they begin to kind of rear and kick. And that chaos is enough for the troll to kind of, with all of its massive strength, pull the ropes and chains that are holding it. And you see as two of the adventurers get thrown clear across the crowd and hit into Korga, bowling him over against the ropes and wrenching with its enormous strength. You see veins popping out of the troll's biceps. It pulls and just rips these ropes asunder and tears off of its mask, lets out an ear-shattering cry, "Ah!" and grabs for a plank of wood from a crate and fashions it into something of a club, and he begins kind of swinging wildly at the crowd. And with that, let's all roll for initiative.
Hey!
Jeez.
Initiative!
All right.
Group initiative! Yes!
Group initiative!
Woo!
Oh, nice.
I got a 9.
I got
I-
15.
I got a 19.
I got an 11.
Ooh.
So we will go ahead and start. Ryutaro, you start us off. What do you do?
All right. Well, immediately I back up because
I'm going to say he
Let's
doesn't
just-
get... I just had you guys randomly placed, so I'll say you can move freely.
yeah. So I'm gonna kind of
Okay.
back up to near those barrels, and I'm gonna yell out to Koji to get out of the way. Watch out, Koji! As I summon a hunter's mark on this troll, and then move to attack with my bow. I say, "Take this, you troll!" And that is a dirty 20 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit. Starting off strong.
Yes.
All right. So and maxed it. So I do 11 plus 1d6 for my hunter's mark. So 14 damage.
Awesome. Okay.
And then also I'm going to use Koji's reaction to make it an infused strike. So I do an additional 1d6 of fire damage
Oh, okay.
Nice.
for 6 extra fire damage.
Awesome.
Dang, 2 max rolls. I like it.
Off to a strong start. That makes it Mora's turn.
Excellent. Well, I will yell out like anyone needs to hear it, but Korga, Goro, there is a bigger fight! And I will also back up about 10 or 15 feet there away from anything that's about to happen. Knowing that being near something like that is not exactly where I'm at my best. I was just trying to determine if a troll counts as a humanoid or not.
Let's see. So it is technically giant, which I think, yeah, let's go ahead and consider it humanoid.
In
rather
which
than
case,
creature.
well, if we can call it that, then I can. Well, all right. I was gonna go for a hold person if we can do it for that, but
Ooh.
that's humanoid only. So I want to make sure that's kosher here.
I'm gonna say let's do it. I'm gonna say let's do it. It's a home group campaign. Giant creatures are close enough kin. So use hold person.
All right, let's give it a shot then. It needs to make. I will gesture, and there will be a flash of amethyst from a ring on my fingers as I cry out, "Hold! Stand!" towards it. And it must then make a saving throw.
Okay.
Wisdom.
Got it. So it rolled low. So it hears hold, and this hulking creature stands above, a good head and shoulder above anyone else in the crowd, and it turns its attention to Mora, and you can just see rage in its eyes as it freezes up and is held in space, kind of claw outreached towards you.
That's my turn.
That's your turn. So now it is Aya's turn.
Okay.
No,
all right.
I take that back. Sorry, it's Goro's turn.
How far away am I?
You are 5, 10, I'm going to say once you jump over the ring, you're about 20 feet away.
Would I be able to jump over the ring and make it to him for an attack? All right.
Sure.
I turn to Korga. So we're not done yet, but there's a more powerful foe in our midst. And I leap over the ring and charge in for a spear attack with my boar spear. For a 10.
A 10 to hit. Let's see. Your spear kind of slides, and just as you're about to hit, if it's hold person, you have advantage on the roll because he's incapacitated.
That's right. Then I will roll again. 21 to hit.
That does hit.
Oh. Gonna roll for damage. And for a total of two-handed 7 damage.
Okay.
And then I will continue with the butt of my spear as well.
Great.
$15 to hit, but I can also roll this as well with advantage, yes?
Yes, you can roll that with advantage as well.
15 or 16. I'll take the 16.
Yes, that will hit.
For 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Awesome. All right. That makes it Aya's turn.
Hey. Okay. I am going to... So I'd like to swing around behind Goro, be about 15 feet away. So put me like the third square diagonal to the guy. Just a little bit further away from Goro. Yeah. And I would like to summon my spiritual weapon.
Yes.
I'd like to cast spiritual weapon.
Yes.
At 2nd level.
Nice.
Let me get my thing here and roll. Roll to hit. For a 17. Does a 17 hit?
17 will hit.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Most importantly, what's your spiritual weapon look like? We haven't seen it yet.
Ooh.
No, you guys haven't seen my spiritual weapon. So he kind of reaches her arm up very like magical girl style and like kind of holds her hand up for a second, and you see bright flash of light, and she summons a mace, but instead of the top of the mace looking like a normal mace, it looks like a rose that has thorns sticking out, like iron thorns sticking out of it. That's her magical weapon. That's her spiritual weapon. As to, allude to, the church that she's from with the roses.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes just like, and she kind of uses it, and she goes to hit. Let me roll for damage. I get a total of 8 damage.
Great.
She goes, and she down right on him.
Awesome. All of you see as kind of cracking out of sheer air, this rose mace appears, light magic energy kind of circling around it, and as it cracks onto the troll still held by Mora's spell, you can tell that just kind of black and green viscous blood begins dropping and splattering out on the road and street around it, and you can tell that the troll is bloodied. Is there anything else you are doing on your turn?
I would. You know what? No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yes, I'm good.
So with that, then you see Mora kind of rushing past your peripheral. You see Korga as well kind of leap over the railing of the bridge, and he charges towards the glory will be mine this day, ha ha! And he's running, charging, arms and fists spread wide, long sword, short sword, dragon combo, as this kind of short, furry-hatted, goateed man comes running up next to Goro. And he takes his swings. Okay, with the first one, he misses and goes, just warming up, friend! Ha ha! And then reaches back, ready for the short sword, which has been a little bit more trustworthy so far. Yes, for the 21 to hit. So he comes in and slices for X amount of damage. For, maybe not the most impressive 4 points of damage. But he looks at his cut arm and says, "Ooh, I guess that slice took a little bit more out of me than I thought. Ha ha!" Oh. And he gets ready for his next attack. It's the troll's turn, so he's going to. Well, this happens first. The troll is making another wisdom saving throw,
okay.
And I'm assuming an 8 does not do it.
13's what you're looking for.
Damn. Okay. So he's still held, and you see as these cuts on his skin begin to close up, but around where Ryu's arrow kind of hit, it seems that area isn't closing up at all. And he's seems to still be injured. That brings us to the top of the round, and it's going to be Ryu's turn again.
All right, Koji, let's show him what we got. It's all us again. So I'm going to have Koji run up behind and try and nip at his ankles to use his bite attack.
Okay.
Which is a +5 to hit. So first roll is a natural 20.
Okay. Coming in strong today.
Natural 20.
So
Nice.
Koji hits.
Bring it.
All right, so that's 2d6 then. He does 12 piercing damage.
Ho! Ho! Ho!
Yeah.
Koji. And then I am going, as his teeth kind of sink into this troll's ankles, I'm going to shoot my longbow at him.
Ankle
Which
biter.
also has advantage. So, person's 18.
That'll hit.
All right, it's going to be an 18.
18 hits.
Yeah, and so, damn, I'm rolling hot. That's another 10 damage, and then I can once again make an infused strike using Koji's reaction
Yep.
to add an additional d6.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I only dealt 1 damage of fire, so
Holy cow. Okay.
11 damage.
But you dealt.
That went
Hey,
way.
fire damage is all you need there. Wow. Okay, let me just do a little bit of bookkeeping here real quick.
It's the fire, guys. Try and hit him with fire.
Oh, that's good to know.
While gripping my spear, I turned to Korga. Don't tell me you used all your good hits on me in the ring.
Haven't even started yet, buddy.
I turned back to the troll is still paralyzed, right?
Yes.
Right. I gripped my spear and I like dig my feet in and I second win and I'm gonna add 5 extra hit points back to my hit points just in case as a bonus action, just in case the troll comes out of it. And then I proceed with my polearm attack with my boar spear.
Ooh.
For a 24 to hit. And since he's paralyzed, these are treated like critical hits, right?
Right, yeah.
Fair damage. I rolled a 1, but since I'm a polearm master, I can re-roll 1s and 2s.
Nice.
So it's 8 for 16 points of piercing damage.
Okay, so
Nice.
you whip that spear around and you leap up into the air and hover for a moment as you bring the spear down into the skull of this troll. And you see his blood, Ryu and Aya, you're able to see as just kind of blood splurts out in a fan-like motion as Goro just drives this spear deep down and through the troll, and it kind of thump into a mass on the ground. As it does, you notice that Goro is wearing a ring. It is a ring that Aya and Ryu, you both have as well, as does Mora. And as the troll kind of thump on the ground, it lays dead for a moment before you see this light inside of it begin to glow and radiate before into thousands of pieces. This troll dissipates into a magical shattering ether, and lines begin to form, streaks of energy into each of your rings. And you know this to be rings given to you by the Adventurers Guild. Rings that give you, that record your kills, give you experience points and gold for different creatures that you conquer in your adventures. It's a very sophisticated magic, and it is all kind of logged and registered by the Adventurers Guild in various magical facilities in Raven's Lock and Esterfell. But with that, we are out of initiative.
I remove my spear, and with the troll blood still dripping from the tip of it, pointed at Korga and say, "We can continue our fight now or another time. It's up to you." And I kind of just stare him down.
And you see as Korga kind of puts his long sword kind of tip down and rests on it, and big, well, whew, I don't know, after a fight like that, I'm feeling pretty wiped, pretty tired. I think we've had enough action for today, don't you, friend?
A wise decision. And I turn away, not to think of him again.
At this, I kind of go up and say, "Good job, guys. That was awesome."
Aya is like immediately walking up to Goro. Like, she has her spiritual mace that she like kind of flips her wrist above her head, and it like vanishes with like a few little spectral like petals that just kind of, and she was like, "You are fantastic," and she walks right up to Goro.
I know.
also on the way pick up Koji and kind of just like pat him like, good job, and walk over to them as well.
Your efforts were commendable, and I respect your participation in this fight.
Hey, my name is Aya, and she sticks her hand out to shake.
I realized I was about to continue to walk on, and I kind of realized, oh, this conversation isn't done. Goro, with a slight nod of the head.
And like her hand stays out for a second, and then she kind of pulls it back a little awkwardly. My fellow adventurers and she like gestures back to the other two. We were looking for our next quest. We were going to go to the Adventurers Guild to take a look, and we've been looking for another party member. Would you be interested in talking with us about that? And she kind of gets this little like hopeful kind of look on her face, like, huh? Kind of.
I look around the street and kind of. This does not feel like the right place for us to have this conversation. I am open to learn more about who you are and what you seek, and if your direction and desire and goals align with mine, perhaps maybe our paths will continue in the same direction. I suggest maybe we step inside and pour ourselves some tea and have a discussion.
Yo, that sounds good to me. And she turns and she looks at Mora and Ryu. What do you guys think?
As she's turning around, I'm already just basically like in between her and Goro, just being, "Hi, I'm Ryu. That was great. You're really freaking big, huh?"
I am.
Yeah.
And nice to meet you and your little dragon pet thing.
Oh yeah, Koji. He's something, ain't he? I mean, look at this thing.
He's very sweet.
Yeah. Indeed.
I am walking over, and as I do, I will cast Prestidigitation upon myself and clean some of the dust off of the bottom of my robe that I kicked up by moving back in my haste, and move over towards this little gathering, and I would say, Goro, a pleasure to see such a capable warrior.
And you are Mora Blackheart, aren't you?
So I am.
I've heard of your greatness and your skill within the mystic and magical arts. It was good to see you in action for the first time. And I respect. I give a slight bow and nod to the head.
Mora will return the bow. I heard perhaps an author of tea?
Yes, if you and your companions are of interest, I am happy to pour some tea for us and discuss what you're looking for.
I, for one, would welcome the camaraderie. Let us go.
He sounds fantastic.
Shall we retire to the guild hall then?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So the party makes its way back across the street and into the Green Haven Guild Hall. The Guild Hall here is quite a bit nicer than the other guild halls kind of in the north and in the surrounding area. Mora, for sure, Goro, for sure, have been to the guild halls in the major cities, which are spectacular buildings. Some of the finest buildings in either city. In the countryside and in the wilder areas, larger towns like Green Havens have proper adventurer guild halls. They tend to be 2 stories, have several rooms, and you can get much of what you need, from repairs to your armor, some supplies, all of these things. In many of the little kind of villages and hamlets and whatnot that you'll make your way to, oftentimes it's simply the city watch has kind of a billboard in the center of town where adventurers are posted in case adventurers are making their way through on a journey and want to pick something up. But regardless, here in Greenhaven, as you open the door, you see the guild hall interior, and kind of right in front of the door, you'll notice a tidy countertop with two guild employees, Lucas being one and a young woman being another, and they're helping various adventurers. It seems as though adventuring group fresh off of a journey is asking for some armor repairs, while the same group that had been handling the trolls are getting some medical attention after getting slammed by those trolls there. There's a little bit of commotion around them. Right next to the countertop, you see the adventuring board. Ayumi hasn't updated it yet, so it's several of the same adventures that you saw over the last time that you were in town. And over to your left is kind of a common area. There's some booths for a little bit more private conversations, but there is kind of a guild employee walking around taking food and drink orders. There's a stairs upstairs, and you know up there that there are rooms for rent at a significantly discounted price. It's a little bit first come first serve, so adventurers who are passing through will often stay the night at guild lodgings if they want to save a little bit of money. But yeah, so you find a rather busy and happening guild hall.
Have I been to this guild hall before, or I'm new to this particular town?
You're new to the town, but you showed up yesterday while you and Mora were still on the road. So you have a room here at the guild hall and for another night or so. And you've kind of made your way around the town a bit this morning.
If there is a table available for us, I will ask Lucas to sit us down and bring me a hot pot of water.
Certainly, Goro. We're certainly thankful for your help with that troll. This will be on the house, whatever you order today. And so he, for your meal today. And so he walks you over to a table, kind of takes a rag and washes it off. And as he's leaving, he's like, hi, Mora. And then kind of goes into the back for his tea.
I just give him a small smile.
Sit, and when the hot kettle of water comes, I will produce a small, tea steeping set, as well as 4 simple ceramic cups stacked, and I'll produce a few bags of different loose leaf ingredients, and I will begin to go through the motions of steeping tea, and I will let them know, please sit. I will, after a fight like that, I always enjoy a nice cup of tea to collect my thoughts and meditate and self-reflect. Let me pour you some of this peach cobbler guayasa tea, if you would so desire.
Thank you. Wonderful. And Aya sits down very excited when she heard about the peach tea, because peach just happens to be one of her favorites.
Excellent. As I steep the tea and serve it, so, you are Mora, and if I recall, Aya, and
Yes.
You with the dragon, Ryu, yes, and the dragon has a name?
Well, it's Koji, of course. Do you have any tea for him?
I do not. I only have 4 cups. Maybe you can share?
I'll share.
So, what brings you to Greenhaven, and how may I engage with you?
We just arrived in town. We were a few days on the road. We've been adventuring for a while. But to be perfectly honest, in the last encounter that we had. Even though we were successful in our endeavors, we kind of realized that we might like to make some more friends and expand our adventuring party a little bit by bringing in someone who's a bit more upfront and personal and physically inclined as far as fighting skills. We're half of our team is more than half of our team is mainly magic users, of course. So
We're looking for a fighter then.
possibly, yes.
I mean, Koji will be able to be big and strong someday, but for now, I don't know if he should be up front as much.
Certainly someone as well trained in the martial arts as you would be a welcome addition.
Capable.
I am holding the teacup under my nose and just smelling it and enjoying the aroma of it. This is just, My father was an apothecary, and my mother an herbalist. This takes me so far back. This is brilliant.
Sure. I'm sure between the two of them, they have concocted wonderful things in the tea space. Let me ask you this. What is your mission? What do you seek? Are you merely adventurers seeking coin, reputation? What are you on the search for?
Knowledge, of course. There is so much that is yet unknown.
I mean, I just want to see more and explore, see the world, Get outside.
Oh, exploring is nice. I have enjoyed that. My goals eventually. I lost a friend not long ago. Not lost as in they're gone or anything, but we've exchanged letters for many, many years, and for some unknown reason, Hide stopped responding to my letters, which was very not like him. So I hope some point to find wherever he's gone and just make sure that he's okay.
Friend lost, eh? Well, let me tell you what I am looking for. In my past, I was a ferocious warrior. I have felled many foes. I have seen much bloodshed. That is not who I want to be anymore. I am not merely an instrument of war and fighting and death. I seek true strength in both myself, body, mind, and soul. I adventure not for just the coin and not for the reputation, but true mastery of who I am and who I can become. So, the adventures, the assignments that I take is all in the endeavor towards that. And it isn't so much a matter of who I impale at the end of my spear, but also who I adventure with. It is maybe no secret that I am much more comfortable alone and trust only in my own skill. But having seen the three of you conduct yourselves today with that troll, I think that you're more than capable. And if there's a particular adventure that you want to go on, you may count me in.
That's great.
Cool.
I know, I respect your quest. I mean, I don't think our past should define us and who we will be. I mean, there's always time to grow. At least I hope so. Yeah, I don't know if there's any quests right now, but I did hear an inkling earlier that some new ones are coming in soon. So I'm sure there's going to be something good if we kind of keep an eye out.
A few more minutes pass by. You enjoy this delicious tea that is provided by Goro, and have some stilted but pleasant conversation. Goro is many things, but conversationalist isn't entirely in his skill set, and it's something of a funny scene as the three of you sit kind of shoulder to shoulder on one side and Goro on the other kind of takes up his entire side of the bench. So it feels like something of a literally one-sided conversation. There begins to be a little bit of a rumbling, a murmur from the adventurers gathered kind of near the front counter. Many of them kind of jockeying for position, it seems, because after a moment or two, a door opens, and a woman that Mora, Ryu, and Aya would certainly know, and Goro might have seen her in passing. A woman by the name of Ayumi steps out, and Ayumi is a tall, thin woman with her hair kind of pulled back in a bun and low-rimmed glasses, and wearing the guild master uniform. Unlike my sporting navy blue, many of the northern guild masters opt for a green jacket and pants. So that's really kind of the only difference in uniform. And she kind of makes her way around, and in her hand is a very thick leather folder with, you can see kind of protruding out of it, several sheets of paper. And the adventurers all kind of separate and let her make her way through. And she begins kind of posting these adventures and these quests up on the wall. And from your seats, you can see that she's organizing them in terms of their ranking, for lack of a better term, in terms of their level of difficulty. And so some adventurers can only, most adventurers can only accept quests and adventures within their given level, and certainly anything below their level if they wanted to. But if you are recognized in the guild as being this level of adventurer, you only have access to the height of that adventure. And this is one of the reasons why adventurers tend to team up together. There are often also requirements of the number. So the guild says, okay, you are X level, this will require 3 adventurers, or you are X level, well then this will require 4 adventurers, that type of math. So you see, and after a few minutes, people are kind of jostling, and Ayumi makes her way out of the crowd, and the adventurers swallow up that free space, and they begin kind of grabbing at quests and saying, oh, there's a new one to the south. Hey, look at this. This one takes you all the way to Cam. Oh, I don't want to do another escorting service. You hear as they kind of shout back and forth at one another.
Looks like the new jobs were just posted. Do we want to take a look?
Better go quick before all the good ones get taken.
Yes, please. Yes, please, because the last thing I want to do is escort another noble so far. Yikes. Okay. She very actively pushes her way through, trying to shimmy her way to the front.
Yeah, there's all these burly adventuring types, and if the camera could cut, it would cut to this wall of bodies as Aya just kind of jelly molds her way through the crowd, and somehow Ryutaro is able, you just kind of see his head popping a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, until the two of you are kind of up pressed against the missions board. And you see plenty of new adventures. His eyes catch one, but it's grabbed real quick, and he turns his attention to it, and it has to be maybe 3 kids, all of 14 years old. They're clearly wearing hand-me-down armor, and maybe took their dad's short sword kind of thing. This isn't too uncommon for farm hands, and they want to try a little bit of the adventuring life. Entry at the lowest level into the Adventurers Guild is actually quite easy. So they kind of, yes, got it! And it seems to be a mission where some nearby goblins have been pestering farmers and whatnot. And some of the older adventurers, one of them a fighter type with a great axe kind of strapped to his hip, takes on the escort mission that Aya wanted to avoid. And so after a moment, Ryu and Aya, you're able to kind of pull from the wall 3 adventures and quests and take them back to the table. And as you kind of flip through them, you are free to choose which you might want to take. There is a request by a local wizard to procure golden slime from a dungeon that has recently been opened by another group of adventurers. There's another, the second, is a grove of nearby druids, seems to need help from a mysterious instances that are plaguing their forest. And the third is a lizard folk village needs an escort for their chieftain to their coronation. Let's go with Goro. Can you give me... Why doesn't everyone go ahead and give me a history check?
Ooh, okay. Be decent at history. Only just decent.
A 2.
A 12.
Okay.
A whopping 5.
5, okay.
Doing great.
And Mora?
That should have come up as an 18.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, Goro, you're a little bit too new to the... you're a little bit too new to Greenhaven to really have heard much of what's going on in the surrounding area. And so you don't have much of the gossip, the word on the street, so to say. Ryutaro, you also have just not been keeping your ear to the ground lately. But as you're kind of perusing over it, you remember hearing from, you think it was Lucas or maybe some of the other adventurers that you sometimes hang out with here in the cafeteria area. And as you're recollecting, you've heard of this dungeon area that opened up kind of to the west of here, and you've been hearing rumors that it's kind of a slog, right? You've been hearing rumors that there is plenty of kills to be had, and potentially some gold, but there have been a lot of adventurers who have had a hard go of making their way through that dungeon. Aya, you see the escort for the lizard folk, and again, you have heard of these lizard folk. Sometimes they come into Greenhaven. They'd be most closely recognized as like kind of barbaric in class and nature. You know full well that there are, within the Kingdom of Agonia, several vassal states. These are pseudo-independent groups that kind of go about their business. Lizard folk tend to be them. Druids can tend to be them. A lot of the beast folk to the south consider themselves their own vassal people. So they pay tribute and give military support when needed, but remain somewhat independent. And you know that this would be another escorting gig. Mora, with your 18 to history check, you have heard of these druids. You know that they operate out of the Great Forest, that they have their, what would you call... a group of druids. The name is a grove of druids. You know that this grove of druids is in the Great Forest. The Great Forest is an enormous place, full of creatures and monsters and dangers. And you know that the Druids have operated there for as long as anybody can remember. You've come across their writings about nature and the balance and the way of things in your own research and study, as they have output quite a bit of knowledge.
Well, if these are the options at hand, I personally would much prefer to enter towards the Great Forest. That has the opportunity for a variety of challenge and a variety of learning.
I mean, I have always been a little more comfortable in the woods.
That's very true. I would definitely be all right with that. I'm sure that the helping to transport the chieftain is a very noble cause, of course. However, we did just finish a transport mission where much of it was us sitting in very long rides in a cart for a very long time with very little to do. It'll be nice to do something a little different and get a better lay of the land, I think. Goro, what do you think?
I take a small final sip of my tea. Whatever ails the Druids, that is my direction.
Right.
Well, I guess it's decided.
Yes. Set out for the Druids.
Cheers to the start of our first adventure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And lift up the
Cheers
teacup.
indeed.
Wonderful. So, you as a party agree that you are going to take the journey to aid the Druids, whose grove is in the Great Forest up to the northwest. You take the bill to the poster to Lucas. He says, "Oh, wonderful! Oh, this is great. A few of the Druids were in here not too long ago. Nice folk. I hate to think that they're having troubles." And he'll kind of open up a file, and it's clear that all of the bills have a corresponding file. And he goes about setting up all of the paperwork that you need. You register your rings to log this adventure. He gives you coordinates for the grove, a map for the Great Forest, and makes sure that anything that you may need, rations, blankets, and whatnot, are kind of provided as you are ready to head out.